Welcome to a field in England. It's exactly what the title says it is. One field, one day, a handful of people, and somewhere along the way, a complete collapse of reality.
Yes, it's shot in black and white, and yes, that immediately has people accusing it of trying to be a bit arty, but the choice wasn't just an artistic flourish, it was also practical. See, when you're making a 17th century film in 8 days, and for about 300 grand, you don't want to spend your budget on making sure every flag, every bootlace, and every shirt button is the historically accurate colour. Strip away the colour, and suddenly you've got something that feels timeless, or, in this case, unmoored in time entirely.
The year was 2013. Ben Wheatley had already earned a reputation for films that got under your skin. Kill List in 2011, part hitman thriller, part occult horror, and Sightseers in 2012, a jet black comedy about caravanning and casual murder. They were the kind of films that got glowing reviews from critics, while some of the audience walked out wondering if they'd wandered into the wrong screen. So when Wheatley said he was making a Civil War film, expectations were confused.
Civil War cinema in Britain usually means big country estates, galloping cavalry, and, of course, a healthy dollop of Cromwell.
The king is not England, and England is not the king.
Wheatley wasn't interested in any of that, so there are no castles, no armies, just a ragged group of men and a patch of farmland in Surrey. The story begins simply enough. 4 men, deserters from a battle, trudging away from the noise in search of an alehouse.
Say, I see nothing but shit and thistles all about. Where's this alehouse exactly?
Across the field and beyond.
You're paying, you say?
You'll eat first, though.
They meet O'Neill, Irish, intense, and an alchemist. Or at least he says he is.
Do not address me as friend, and do not speak to me directly again. Otherwise, I'll turn you into a frog.
Sir, I hereby place you under arrest.
Rhys Shearsmith's character Whitehead has been sent by his master to track down O'Neill.
What the fuck is this?
Please, God, don't let him find me.
But because he's a coward, the tables are very quickly turned.
Now you will find the treasure in this field, and they will dig it up, and I will claim it.
So they dig. And they argue.
And then they eat some wild mushrooms.
And that's when the film says, buckle up. From that point on, you're on the trip with them. There are long, stroboscopic sequences, 4 minutes of flickering images that some viewers said gave them headaches. The film freezes occasionally into strange tableau, as if the characters are posing for some sort of 17th century engraving. And all throughout the film, you're never quite sure if you're watching reality, a hallucination, or the inside of someone's dying mind. Shearsmith's incredible throughout. When is he not? But there's a moment when his character, Whitehead, disappears into a tent. All you hear is screaming. And then, when he comes out, he's grinning in a way that makes you think he's either seen the face of God or gone completely mad. Seriously, you should watch the film for that scene alone.
You see, friend?
Shearsmith says he spent much of the production covered in mud, half deaf from having grit in his ears, and with no idea how the film would eventually look. In the end, he needn't have worried. It looks incredible. Michael Smiley, who plays O'Neill, said he treated the role like a cross between a gunslinger and a snake oil salesman.
You shall have as many books or lace bobbins as you like.
And then came the release plan, and this is where it gets interesting. Instead of the usual staggered rollout, the red carpet premiere, then the cinemas, then the DVD a few months later, they put it all out everywhere at once. In cinemas, on DVD, Blu-ray, on demand, and in a move so unorthodox it felt like a dare, they put it on free-to-air television, on Channel 4 prime time, the very same night. The reaction was split. Some saw it as a revolutionary way to get a small British film seen by the largest possible audience. Others saw it as madness, the equivalent of throwing your work into the void for nothing.
But what it did do was bring in a crowd who never would have sought this film out. People who sat down expecting a Sunday night period drama and found themselves in the middle of a psychedelic breakdown in a Surrey meadow. Commercially, it didn't matter that the cinema numbers were modest. This was never going to be the King's Speech. It was built for a particular audience. People who like their history muddied, their humour black, and their cinema a bit unhinged.
Those people embraced it. The rest switched off halfway through and went and made a cup of tea.
What I love about A Field in England is exactly that. It's its Englishness. Aside from the countryside, which looks amazing, it's one of a small number of films that have a genuinely dark British sense of humour.
Am I bewitched?
No. So you merely suffer a disease in the private parts occasioned by too much venereal sport.
'Tis all.
Well, I also deduce gout, bloody flux, apostum of the mouth, the pissing disease, St. Anthony's fire, iliac passion, hemorrhoids, and palsy brought on by drink.
Then I'm not going to turn into a frog.
So here we are, deserters, an alchemist, mushrooms. And one field in England you really don't want to get stuck in. Civil war by way of a bad dream, or a good one, depending on your tolerance for flickering lights and strange men in hats.
What this party lacks is the civilising influence of women.